Hi, this video is going to specifically deal with chemistry lab report submissions through Google Docs. So once we've had this discussion in class, this is how you are going to be expected to share your lab reports, your formal lab reports for the rest of the year. So the first thing you need to do is log into Google Docs, and we talked about that in other places as well. If you have any questions about that, send me an email and we'll take care of that, but let's sign in. And so for chemistry lab reports, there's always going to be sort of like a template for it. So if we go to create and we go down to from template, we want to click that. And we need to find the lab report template. Now, it just so happens that the lab report template is really early on in the thing, right? It's right here. But if for whatever reason later on down the road it's not showing up right in the beginning, we can just search for HChem lab. And if we search the templates, right there, it shows up right there. And we want to click this use the template button. So then when the use the template button comes up, now we have our own copy and we can just put in the information that we want. But of course, the first two things we need to do, right, is to change the name of our file to our last name. And then usually you'll be told what to write for the lab report, right? Give it some sort of descriptive name. You'll be told what to do, but like right now, let's say it's a density lab. So density lab report, okay. And then go in and share it with me, right, by putting in my email address down here and then making sure that I have editor access, or at the very least commenter access, though we do prefer editor access, right, and share it with me, all right? And then once you've done those two things, you're pretty much set. So it's really just filling in the information. And remember that any place you see angle brackets, that needs to be replaced. The entire thing, including the brackets, need to be replaced by whatever it is that you need. All right, and you can move your way through. One thing I will point out is that for calculations, you might want to put in equations. And so for that, you might want to use the equation editor. So we just go to Insert, and we go to Equation. And now this loads the equation editor. And the way the equation editor works is it's a little bit weird, but it's definitely worth your time. So you would try to figure out like what the thing looks like. So maybe I want to put in the equation, I don't know, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Well, I know that a squared basically has the formula where it's a, and then the squared is going to be a little superscript, right? So it's going to basically look like that. And so if I put in a, and then I go up here, I've told it that it's going to be squared like that. And now when I come down, I'm out of there. And so I want to do that again, right? Plus b squared. So let's pick the same thing again. B squared. So it's going to be b squared. All right, and then we're going to have an equal sign, and then it's going to be equal to, and so the same thing again, right? It's going to look like this, C, and I just push over, squared to get up there. All right, and so that's an example of putting in an equation. The next thing I can do, obviously, is show my work and work my way through it and all that kind of stuff. I would encourage you to fool around with this a little bit before you get too crazy with it. You know, but if you can put in the quadratic formula, I suppose, then you probably know what you're doing, right? So you can put things like underneath a square root. We can get really, really nuts if we want. We can, how about like something like that underneath the square root? So how about like x to the a, and you know, we can take this whole thing and we can put it over something else. So we want it to be, the relationship should be like a over b, right? Yeah, so there it is, a over b, and we can get really nuts, all right? But fool around with it a little bit. The equations we'll use in this class aren't so insane that it will be a problem really to use it. There are some other tools that are available in the kind of like setup documents that I gave you that maybe have you work on your equations outside and then bring them in like PNGs or PDFs or that kind of stuff to put in here. And you know, you just work through your document. And once you're done, you've already shared it with me, so it's good to go. As long as it's ready by the due date, you're all set. All right, so that's lab reports for honors chemistry here in Google Docs. Very cool. Thanks.